There's guilt, whichever way we turn. And we have to find ourselves in that process in order to manage that juggle struggle successfully, because we can be successful, effective businesswomen and highly effective, calm, balanced mothers and wives.
Welcome to the Life Coaching for Mompreneurs podcast, where you will learn simple solutions to win at work without losing at home. Hi, my name is Martine Williams, and I am your host and CEO, your Chief Encouragement Officer. And this podcast is your one-stop shop to creating a burnout-proof life and business by elevating your clarity, confidence, and courage. Friends, it's time to say goodbye to being the yes girl, to procrastinating on your goals and living in overwhelm. And it's time to say hello to creating healthy boundaries, healthy mindsets, and healthy habits so that you can achieve work-life harmony. Your next breakthrough starts here. This is the Life Coaching for Mompreneurs podcast. Let's do this. Today's episode, we have a very special Turquoise Talk guest, and her mission is to empower women everywhere to live, to love, and to lead with confidence. And we just have a lot of common values, common ways that we coach. And as a mom, as an entrepreneur, and her voice is just so calming. So let me tell you a little bit about our guest today. Her name is Lisa Skeffington, and she is someone who knows the story very well of a high-performing woman who seems to have it all, right? But is secretly carrying silent wounds behind her success. We talk about that here on the podcast, just that suffering in silence. No one knows. They see the outward appearance. She knows this very well. So she is a multi-award-winning psychotherapist, executive coach, and self-esteem expert. And she supports high-achieving women in leadership, business, and the celebrity world who are battling things like anxiety, burnout, and hidden trauma. With over 25 years of experience, she helps women remove the mask, heal emotional wounds, and step fully into their personal and professional power with confidence and clarity. She has some angles and thought processes on the word should that I had not heard before, and kind of where that comes from for us when we're shoulding all over ourselves. I should be here. I should be further along. I should do this. I shouldn't do that. And then she talks about also this concept of your belief and behavior being misaligned, which we talk about alignment here on the podcast a lot, but she's just such a great conversation. I know you're going to benefit from it. I told her I was probably going to go back and listen to it again because she gives you a 3-step reset as well. So without further ado, let's just dive right into this episode. Well, hey friends, welcome back to the show. We have a Turquoise Talk guest today, Lisa Skeffington. Lisa, thank you so much for taking the time to come on the podcast today.
Hello, Martine. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
And don't you all just want to listen to her talk for like hours? Because I love your accent. They're used to my Southern South Carolinian accent. So it's nice to have a different accent on the podcast. So thanks so much for coming on.
Wonderful. It's my pleasure.
Tell me a little bit about you, Lisa, like your family and how you got into the work that you're doing today. I always like to kind of start out with that question.
So I'm in my late 50s. I'm based in the UK, down on the southwest coast. Beautiful here. I'm literally 5 minutes from the beach.
Wow.
I am divorced, and I have 2 grown-up children, a 30-year-old and a 21, nearly 22-year-old.
Okay.
Nearly 22-year-old. He's actually turning 22 next week, so that's why I stumbled a bit there. So I'm a mum of 2 wonderful grown-up children. I've been running my own business for nearly 30 years now.
Okay.
So I've gone through the whole, dynamic of raising children and running a business as well.
Yeah.
So I totally get the struggle that is involved with doing that. So how did I get into what I do? Okay, so I'm a consultant psychotherapist, advanced hypnotherapist, everything else in between, alphabet soup of therapy. I've created my own way of working that I call psychodynamic mentoring, which is essentially a mix of psychodynamic therapies with life skills mastery for
Okay.
communication. So, how did I get into this? Well, I have my own story, as we all do. We all have a
Yeah.
story, don't we?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have my own story from trauma to triumph in my life. I grew up with a lot of domestic violence. I pushed through that, pushed through all those insecurities, all the self doubt to create a business that has thrived over the years in helping other women to shift their own self doubt
Mm.
so that they can live authentically and get themselves seen and heard without excuse or apology in their lives today. I'm very passionate about what I do, and I have great motivation for doing what I do.
Yeah. I love that. Like I got chills when you said seen and heard, because I think as moms and entrepreneurs, in all the roles that we play, the wife hat, the mom hat, the CEO hat, the friend hat, sometimes you can feel hidden. You kind of lose yourself. You lose your, I know that's part of my story and why I do the work that I do today too, is because I feel like I lost a little bit of myself in pursuit of the success. I lost a little bit of myself in pursuit of doing motherhood well. It was like I looked in the mirror and I'm like, who is this woman that I'm looking back at? And so I think it's a really, again, you've been through that, so you understand all of the dynamics and the juggling that we do as moms and entrepreneurs. But I just love, and I could feel like your passion in that statement of helping every woman be seen and heard. And there's so many that don't feel seen and heard in their own homes and in their own communities. And so I love that you're doing that work.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is totally about being seen and heard,
Mm-hmm.
isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And it's that striving and that compensating in different arenas that
Mm-hmm.
create what I call this kind of juggle struggle.
Mm.
It's that idea where nothing seems quite aligned.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's guilt whichever way we turn, and we have to find ourselves
Mm-hmm.
in that process in order to manage that juggle struggle successfully, because we can be successful, effective businesswomen and highly effective, calm, balanced mothers and
Yeah.
wives.
Yeah.
It's really important for us, isn't it, to find
Mm-hmm.
that balance. Because really what we're talking about is it's not just a busy schedule, is it? It's an
No.
emotional load.
Yeah.
It's that emotional load, isn't it, that we carry all
Mm-hmm.
the time
Yeah.
because it's fed by this little voice. I wonder if you agree with this, that there's a little voice
Mm-hmm.
that says, am I doing enough?
Oh, 100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. And it is, I was just interviewing another woman for the show before you, and we were talking about her burnout. And her burnout
Mm,
was really around the emotional load. It wasn't that she physically felt burnout, it was just the emotional load of trying to carry, which we can't really do it, but trying to carry everyone
mm,
else's emotions, the kids, the husband, the clients, friendships, and also just the decision load of all the decisions that we're making for ourselves and for others. And usually the decisions for ourselves get put on the back burner, which doesn't help the whole process. But it is this like emotional load. And there is that voice that is telling you, like, it's not enough. And so we just push harder and strive longer and stay up longer to work. And it's just a vicious cycle, honestly. And it's like the ball that you're chasing just goes faster. And so I have learned, I don't know if you have this over the years, like when I feel that, like even physically in my body to speed up, that's kind of like my check engine light coming on. And I'm like, okay, my tendency is to try to chase the ball and move faster and run faster when really what I need to do is slow down and take a step back. And is that the ball I even want to be chasing? Right. And there's so many things out there that we could be spending our time with. So, and I've just learned that through experience. I'll be 50 next month, and my kids are 18 and 21. They both just had birthdays. So, yeah, I paused a little bit there too. But it just, experience in life has taught me these things as it has you. And so there's a lot of moms on the podcast who are in all of the different seasons. So I think part of our responsibility as being on the other, like in the older side of that, is to reach back, right? And help the other women, like you said, to be seen and be heard and to figure out what is that enoughness for them.
Absolutely. I totally agree because what we're talking about here is a kind of split identity, isn't it?
Mm,
It's,
yeah.
are we a businesswoman or, and therefore we're never fully present
Mm,
in either scenario.
yeah.
There's always this quiet self-doubt there that's telling us perhaps that
Hmm.
we're feeling behind, that we're not enough in some way, that there's a fear of getting it wrong. And of
Yes.
course, a lot of this comes from unhealed emotional wounds, very often in childhood. And as we become mothers, as this anxiety loop of needing approval,
Mm,
of fearing failure, of fearing letting people down. And of course, when we become business women, it's the pressure isn't just practical,
hmm.
it becomes deeply psychological. And I've certainly found for myself in my life and for the many, many women I've helped over the years, that the way to find your footing with this is to release that superwoman standard,
Mm,
isn't
yeah.
it? It's that
Yeah. Take the
idea
cape
of,
off. Yeah.
yeah, you're not meant to do everything perfectly.
Hmm.
And as business women, as mums, we feel it in both arenas,
Yeah, we do.
isn't it? It's that kind of idea that our brain is always scanning for
Hmm.
failure.
Hmm.
It's always scanning for something that we've done wrong,
Yeah.
for something that doesn't measure up.
Hmm.
And what we really need to do is to acknowledge what is working,
Mm,
to train ourselves to consciously notice the small successes that we have, the smiles that we bring to our children,
hmm.
the presentations that go well for us at work, the deals that we close, so that we begin to make peace with this reality
Yeah.
because we're doing our best. And all every woman listening to this can do is her absolute best.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so true. It's so
If we
true.
give ourselves, if we give ourselves permission
Hmm.
to acknowledge that we are human. As a
Yeah.
businesswoman, we're still human and fallible. As a mum, we're still human and fallible. As a wife, we're
Hmm.
still human and fallible. We're not perfect.
Hmm. Yeah. And I mean, like when you talk about the struggle juggle, I think from the women that I work with, my clients, that's the biggest struggle. It's not, like I think it's everything on their to-do list, but it really comes down to this identity and it comes down to the enoughness, and just deciding what that is. And underneath that, where are you not being human? I think we forget that we're human, like we're not just this robot who is unconsciously or on autopilot throughout our day. And I think so many women are on that. They're not consciously deciding what to do with their time. They're not consciously deciding what is important. They're not consciously celebrating their wins before they're moving on to the next thing. And it's almost, I don't know if you see this, it's almost like it's just been accepted that this is just the way motherhood and entrepreneurship work. You just kind of just keep hustling. And I think we're talking more about it now than we ever have before. I've been an entrepreneur for 20 years, but I think the hustle culture is starting to calm down a little bit and people are starting to realize like there's more to life than all this hustle. And on the other side of the hustle is just more hustle unless I consciously decide and choose differently for myself. I think that more women are starting to talk about it, which is why this podcast is so important. So people can hear people like you to come in and really just kind of explain what's going on underneath the surface. What is that unhealed wound or what is the approval that you're seeking
Mm,
after? Because I do think it
mm,
is from that. Like I think about my own personality and the like when I'm in that state, there is this level of like approval or proving or perfecting that I get into. And I notice it now sooner. And it's not that I don't ever go there, but I just notice it sooner and I'm able to kind of work my way out of it. But what are your thoughts on that?
I agree. I
Yeah.
agree totally. There's this kind of feeling still, isn't there, within society,
Mm-hmm.
worldwide, really,
Mm-hmm.
that questions if women really can have it all.
Right.
That questions if women shouldn't just be
Mm-hmm.
mothers and wives and homemakers.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost an unspoken pressure when we want to step up and become businesswomen and be good at it,
Yeah.
to
Right.
use the skills and the talents that we have as mothers, to
Mm-hmm.
bring that into the workplace, whether we're employed in our own business or whether we're working for a company.
Mm-hmm.
It's that juggle then becomes trying to meet everyone's expectations of us, when really what we need to do is come back to a sense of integrity with ourselves,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
It's coming back into a place of self-trust,
Mm-hmm.
where our decisions really count, where we back our own decisions
Mm-hmm.
without constantly second guessing or worrying whether we're going to measure up, worrying whether someone is going to be disappointed
Mm-hmm.
or offended.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming back into our needs, in that place of integrity within ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we pay attention to our needs alongside other people's needs, where
Mm-hmm.
we don't sacrifice our needs to put other people's needs first, whether it's our children's, whether it's our colleagues or bosses at work.
Mm-hmm.
When we do this, we remember that we have our own inherent self-worth,
Mm-hmm.
and we can really hold that and thrive from that place of self-worth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And when we feel enough within ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
we can communicate clearly, we can express expectations calmly, we can ask for help without feeling that guilt, we can set healthy boundaries around our time, whether that's with clients,
Mm-hmm.
colleagues, in our work hours, or with our family demands. We can manage the constraints of that time much better when we're coming at this from a place of self-worth within ourselves. And that gives us
Mm-hmm.
a sense of emotional steadiness, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Where we're not
Mm-hmm.
being thrown by every opinion or situation. We're not reacting, we're
Mm-hmm.
responding calmly.
Mm-hmm.
Because confidence isn't loud, is it? It's
No.
grounded and it's
Mm-hmm.
self-led. And what we're talking about here really
Mm-hmm.
is that self-leadership.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'd be interested to know from you, like, what do you think is the like some practical steps to help a woman get to that level of self-leadership? I think number one, awareness, but I would love to hear from you, like, what are some things that you do to help the client or help women like get into that self-leadership role? Because I think you nailed it. That is what it is. And versus reacting and being in that autopilot, it's like, no, how can you lead yourself well? Right. And be in that integrity and that self trust so that you can make a decision and not always either have guilt around it or you're second guessing it. Am I making the right decision? And building that self trust back. Like, where's the breakdown of it? Where does that start? And then how do they rebuild that back? Is it just like any other relationship? The relationship with self and others? I mean, trust is a journey to build, right? It doesn't take much to break the trust, but
Mm.
it's a journey to build it. So would you say it's the same with yourself as it would be with someone else?
Even more so, I think, really.
Yeah.
The relationship we have with ourselves underpins every other relationship that we have.
Yeah, I agree. Mm-hmm.
Now, there's often this sort of duality going on, isn't there? Where we have what I talk about a lot is women living behind a mask of outward success,
Mm-hmm.
where outwardly it looks like she's smashing it.
Mm-hmm.
Outwardly, it looks like all the ducks are in a row, everybody's happy.
Yep.
But behind the scenes, this woman is quietly struggling.
Yeah. Suffering in
She's
silence.
quietly,
Yeah.
yeah, quietly exhausted, quietly doubting herself, often
Mm-hmm.
awake in the night, working out how she's going to manage everything, how she's going to get through the next day, even.
Mm-hmm.
See, this holding it all together, that's performing strength, isn't it? It's performing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Whereas confidence, self assurance, it's feeling secure within yourself. It comes back to feeling grounded within yourself, knowing who you are, living from a place of self awareness, self understanding that
Mm-hmm.
allows every other relationship, every other aspect of your life to just flow.
Mm-hmm.
So holding it all together looks a bit like this, doesn't it? Saying
Mm-hmm.
yes when you want to really say no,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
over delivering to prove your worth.
Mm-hmm.
If you just do a bit more, you'll be noticed, you'll be acknowledged, smiling on the outside when, as we've said, you feel exhausted on the inside
Mm-hmm.
because you're living behind this mask of competence,
Mm.
this mask of outward success
Yeah.
that looks sustainable, but internally it's incredibly costly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, what's going on here for probably every single listener here is that this hidden self doubt is really fueling a sense of over pleasing,
Mm-hmm.
and it's being able to break this cycle. So, it's being able to recognize a fear of not being good enough, a fear of letting people down, a fear of being judged or
Mm-hmm.
criticized, and that need to prove your worth through doing more.
Mm-hmm.
It's that compensating, isn't it, where you're over giving
Mm-hmm.
everywhere.
Yeah.
And the reason for this is because women mistake linking their value to being a good mum, to being a successful business owner,
Yeah.
when actually it has nothing to do with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It creates huge guilt. This
Mm-hmm.
juggle struggle, trying to manage everything delivers guilt
Mm-hmm.
that
Right.
feels inescapable,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So how does the woman try to compensate for this? She over delivers
Mm-hmm.
with clients.
Mm-hmm.
She says yes when she's already overwhelmed at home and at work.
Mm-hmm.
She takes on too much at home.
Mm-hmm.
She struggles to switch off, and she's feeling guilty no matter whatever she chooses. She still feels guilty
Mm-hmm.
because all the standards are impossible to meet.
Right. Yeah. And I don't know if you find this, like the standards are really the standards we set for ourselves. It's not, for me, it's not a lot of the pressure coming from other people expecting me to be a certain way. It's just this internal, like, that's where it comes from for me. And what I hear from a lot of my women is that it's not that everyone is expecting me to be this way. I'm expecting myself to be this way. I'm expecting myself to be the most dependable, to be the most performer, or the one that's at work early and leaves late. Like, it's the self-driven expectations, I find, is what is causing a lot of that pressure. It's not the outside people that are doing it. We're doing it to ourselves. Would you agree with that? Hey friend, let's talk. It's time to book your clarity call. We are going to spend 1 full hour focused on you. A clarity call isn't about pressure. It's about possibilities. It's about you. You having a space to talk through what's on your heart and mind, you walking away with a clear vision and practical next steps, and you feeling confident in what's next and how to get there. You don't need to have it all figured out. That's my job. All you need to do is show up, and we'll figure it out together. This is the best hour you can invest in yourself right now. Not in 6 months from now, not next month, right now. And don't just take my word for it. Here's what one of my coaching clients had to say after working together.
I honestly cannot say enough positive things about coaching with Martine. From the very first session, I knew this was something different. The deep dive into who I am and why I operate the way I do per the ProScan results has helped me immensely and allowed me to embrace my unique qualities on various levels. I would 1000% recommend hiring her for whatever level of transformation you're looking for.
That transformation, it starts with one conversation. It's time to stop spinning your wheels and start making real progress. So head right now to martinewilliams.com or in the show notes and grab your private clarity call spot on my calendar before they're gone. And since I personally monitor my inbox, if you don't see a time slot that fits your calendar, just send me an email at martinewilliams.com with 3 times that do work, and I will make it work for you. All right, friend, let's get back to the show.
I would totally. And the reason for this, I know for myself from years ago when my kids were young,
Mm-hmm.
and for the many clients that I help all the time, is
Mm-hmm.
there's a mismatch with belief and behavior that is feeding a sense of mom guilt.
Mm.
So let me explain what I mean by this. So let's say, for example, I'll give you a specific example. Okay, this
Mm-hmm.
will help your listeners. If a mum holds a belief, I should be at home more with my children,
Mm-hmm.
but the reality is she's busy building a business and working long hours, well, then there's constant guilt, isn't there?
Yes.
Because wherever you are, you feel wrong.
Right. Mm-hmm.
At work, I should be with my children.
Mm-hmm.
At home, I should be doing more for my business. So
Mm-hmm.
you can't win
Right.
because belief and behavior are misaligned. And
Right.
this is what's going on for a lot of us so many times, so often, day to day. So this is how your listeners can resolve it if they can identify with this.
Mm-hmm.
So the first is to create intentional moments that really matter by adjusting the behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Because guilt always comes when there is a belief and a behavior that are not aligned,
Mm-hmm.
that where there's some, and it's creating inner conflict.
Right.
So what do intentional moments look like? So they might be being home for bedtime a few nights a week.
Mm-hmm.
It might mean no phone family time. It
Mm-hmm.
might mean a weekly ritual that's quality time, a
Mm-hmm.
movie night, a walk together on a Sunday morning, breakfast together, some days perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not trying to do everything, it's just trying to do what matters most.
Yeah.
You know, as mums, when we take on this superwoman role,
Mm-hmm.
we try and do everything.
Mm-hmm.
When actually what we need to do is be more intentional and focus on what matters most.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the first thing, is looking at the behavior, what you can change. The next part is to look at the belief.
Mm-hmm.
So what belief are you holding
Yeah.
that's getting in your way? So if we think perhaps of reframing work as providing an opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
modeling independence and ambition for our kids,
Mm-hmm.
creating financial freedom and experiences. So maybe we're able to travel more extensively than we would otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
And that allows you to then hold a new belief along the lines of, I'm a loving mum and a working woman,
Mm-hmm.
and both are valuable.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not failing your children, you're expanding their world with this reframe. So it allows you to have both.
Yeah. I love that. I think someone should write that statement down about being the mom and like I'm not going to be able to repeat it exactly how you said it, but it's just recorded so you can rewind it back, ladies, and listen to what she just said. But like, what if you just intentionally chose to think that thought? I think that the belief work is so important. I think it's the work that gets skipped over a lot, especially as high achieving, high performing women. We're like, we just want to get in there and do, and do tangible things. But belief work is tangible, and it's where everything, your behavior comes from your beliefs, right? So if your beliefs are skewed or misaligned, the behavior is just going to follow that. So I love that you're spending time on this. And I just don't think, Lisa, this is a skill set that's been taught to a lot of people, how to manage your brain, your thoughts, and you don't have to believe everything your brain offers up to you as fact or true. And how is that thought helping you get what you want, or is it keeping you from getting what you want? That belief that you hold is so important. And I think there's more talk about it now, but I think there's so much work to be done to help, at least for me and probably you too, the women to understand how to do this. And it
Mm.
takes a slowdown, which for highly ambitious moms and entrepreneurs, like it feels fluffy for a lot of people. Like, oh, I don't have time. It's like kind of like journaling. I don't have time to journal. I don't have time to do this. But like, it's literally the most important work to start your day with. What am I thinking? What am I believing about myself as a mom, as an entrepreneur, as a 9 to 5 worker, whatever your role is? Like, what am I believing about that? Because that's going to drive the rest of the day's actions based on what you're believing. And I really am on mission to help women to understand that work even more now, because I understand it
Mm.
more now. I used to just think it was, I've always been, I feel like one of my number one success strategies has been managing my mind in the way of, thinking positively and what I put into my brain, what I put into my mind, what am I listening to? Who am I surrounding myself? Like I protect my mind so fiercely, but I didn't
Mm.
really understand until the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, like intentionally, how am I doing it? Like what is the belief work and why is it so important? And I'm just so thankful that you brought that up because I do think it's a skipped step in entrepreneurship. It's a
Mm.
skipped step in motherhood. We just kind of go through our days on autopilot and we're not even
Mm.
thinking about what we're thinking about.
Totally. This is the thing. So many people, so many women in particular,
Mm-hmm.
don't realize with this juggle struggle,
Mm-hmm.
they are running on internal conflict all
Mm.
the time. They mistake this conflict, this high functioning anxiety, even at times,
Mm. Yeah.
for drive, for ambition,
Yeah.
and they get busier
Yeah.
when really what they need to do is slow down
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and take those moments of awareness
Mm.
and realize where they are misaligned,
Mm-hmm.
realize what's actually fueling that sense of guilt, that sense of
Mm-hmm.
dis-ease,
Yeah.
because they don't need to do more to feel enough. You know that, don't
Yes,
you, Martine?
yes, yes. Say that
Yes.
again. You don't need to do more to feel enough. You can just
You don't need to
decide.
do more. Absolutely. You don't need to do more to feel enough. You
Yeah.
need to feel enough first
Mm.
and then act from that place.
Yeah.
And then everything flows
Yeah.
from that place. So
Yeah.
it's really about checking your alignment, let's say, not
Yeah.
not checking your effort.
Yeah. I totally agree with that. And when you were talking earlier about mom guilt, or when you were just talking about expectations, I can't remember exactly what you were saying, but I was thinking about when someone shared with me, have I actually had a conversation with my kids on, you said what really matters.
Mm.
And she's like, have you ever just talked to your kids to find out what really is important to them? I was raised, my mom worked 9 to 5 and she had dinner on the table every night at 6 o'clock. I don't know how she did it, and it was not just like a casserole. It was like a meat and a potato and a veggie. And I can still visibly see her in her suit, and she would come home and just put her slippers on. And then she would be in the kitchen, cooking our dinner for us. And so that's how I was raised, that, this is what you do. And so I had a lot of mom guilt around, but I don't love cooking. And so I had a lot of mom guilt around having that experience for my family and for my kids. And I can remember when I finally just sat them down and asked them, like it was important to me because I was raised this way, that we got around the dinner table together. And as a family, we had that time together at 6 o'clock. And so I did want to keep that, but there was just a lot of guilt around how that experience came to be. And so I remember sitting them down and just saying, is it important to you that I cook all the meals and that they look like this? Or is it just important to you that we all are around the table together? Is it important to you that I go to all the practices and all the games, or do you just want me there
Mm.
for the games? And there was just so much freedom that came from that conversation, because what I was expecting of myself, they cared less about the things that I thought were really important to them. And it just gave me so much freedom from that mom guilt to say, okay, well, we can order out some nights. It doesn't
Mm.
have to be me cooking every single night. They can help cook. I can get them when they're old enough, they can get something to cook, or they can help with the dishes. There was
Mm.
so much freedom from that guilt because of how I was raised and what I experienced, which I loved, but it wasn't what I wanted what I wanted to do
Mm.
for my family. And so I think for a lot of the moms listening, like maybe that's an opportunity that you could just have a conversation with the people in your family, like what matters most to them.
Mm.
Define what
Yeah.
matters most to you too, but also asking them, because there's probably a lot of pressure that they're putting on
Mm.
themselves to perform a certain way. And the kids are like, I don't really care about that, mom. I was so freed up from cooking. It was amazing.
Yeah. I think there are a lot of expectations
Mm-hmm.
that we as working moms
Mm-hmm.
place on ourselves, that
Mm-hmm.
actually the people who matter most to us,
Mm-hmm.
those things are not important to them.
Yeah.
The number one thing that's important to our children is time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've had countless mums, at different times I've worked with, recount what they may have done over the weekend with their teenage children or uni age children. And many times the mum says to the child what they should do because the mum thinks that's what the child wants to do. Okay.
Yeah.
So, for example, I can think of a particular client who came in one day and said to me, "So I had the best weekend. You know, I took my daughter shopping. We did this and this. We got some lunch. It was just the best day. We spent, a good 4 or 5 hours together. It was magical." And then the next day, I spoke to the teenager, and the teenager's account was completely different. The teenager's account was, "Well, yeah, it was okay. Mum wanted to go shopping, and we did that, so she was happy." But it wasn't actually what the teenager would have wanted to do.
Yeah.
Sometimes what our children want to do are the most simple things.
Yeah.
And it revolves around just spending time with us. Children spell love, Time.
Yeah.
Don't they?
Yeah, they do.
And a lot of these expectations that we put on ourselves in this juggle struggle are actually not necessary. They're not necessary. They come from these unhealed wounds. They come from trying to fulfill a brief of what good enough is. And it ends up with us doing more, sacrificing our own needs, trying to be all things to all people, and exhausting ourselves.
Yeah.
So, if I may, I'd like to give to your listeners a simple 3-step reset that they can do.
Yes, I would love that.
That would help with this constant misalignment that we tend to have as busy working mums trying to juggle everything.
Yes.
Okay. So this is what I would say. 3 simple steps. Step 1 is to pause and ask yourself, where am I feeling pulled in 2 directions right now? Just hold that moment and bring in that full awareness. Where am I feeling pulled in 2 directions right now? Ask yourself, where do I feel guilty?
Yeah.
No matter which direction I go, no matter which option I choose, where do I feel guilty? This is the juggle point. This is the juggle struggle point, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
So when you then identify the conflict, so point 2 is when you're identifying this conflict, I want you to ask yourself, what do I believe I should be doing? And know that whenever you hear a should, it's not your thought. It's not your belief. It's what we call an adopted belief. Someone else has said it at some point, and we've absorbed it, internalized it, and made it ours. So what do you believe you should be doing? Because that's what's feeding the guilt.
Yeah.
And then gently ask yourself, just sit with yourself and ask yourself, what am I actually doing? What's the awareness? What am I actually doing? Because this is where the belief and the behavior are out of sync. So this is where the belief and the behavior are out of sync. And then you simply make one conscious adjustment. So you either change the behavior, so you finish work earlier, you protect 1 hour with your children, for example, or you update the belief. So instead of feeling or believing that to be a good mum, you should be with your children all the time, update that belief to be, my work is also supporting my family.
Yeah.
This matters too. Because when we do this, it's not the idea of how can I do more? It's beginning to ask yourself, what matters most right now? And can I choose that without feeling guilty?
Yeah, that's a great question.
But listeners can't be everything everywhere. You just can't be. You can't be everything everywhere, but you can be intentional.
Yeah.
That's where we need to focus on being intentional.
You said, what can I choose now and not feel guilty? Is that what you said?
Hmm.
Yeah.
I did, yeah.
I love that question because I think that helps you really get to the root.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you ask that question and you still feel guilty, you got to come back to the belief and the behavior.
Yeah. Yeah.
So wherever there's guilt, there's a misaligned belief and behavior.
Mm-hmm.
So you can either update the belief or change the behavior.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then mum guilt goes away. You feel free. And you can live your life, express yourself, be fully seen and heard at home and at work
Mm-hmm.
without excuse or apology. That's the gold.
I love that. Tell me what you said again, the should, because I talk about shoulds on here a lot too, because there's a lot of shoulding going on, I think, in our language. Like I
Yeah,
should do this, I
absolutely.
should do that.
Yep.
And
Yep.
one of the things that kind of came to me in a revelation in the shower. I don't know if this happens to you, but a lot of my ideas and thoughts come when I'm in the shower. But it was this idea of shoulding is shaming. Like when I'm shoulding myself, I'm actually shaming myself because I'm telling myself that I'm not doing enough, right? Or I'm doing it wrong. And so I've really been talking about that a lot here on the podcast. But I wanted to hear what you said again about the shoulding, because I think that's a word that is in our vocabulary that we use over and over and over and it never
Yeah.
feels good. It never feels good. So why do we keep using it? Like when I hear myself say, I'm like, no, that means I'm shaming myself. What could I be doing here? Or what do I want to be doing here versus what I should be doing here?
So the key thing to always know with the word should
Mm-hmm.
is that it doesn't belong to you.
Okay.
It doesn't belong to you. It's become a should because somebody sometime, probably in childhood, said to you, you should be doing this. You
Mm-hmm.
should be better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should be more hardworking.
Mm-hmm.
You should be up by a certain time. You should be this as a mum. Yeah. You should deliver this way at work. Whatever it is, there's
Yeah.
always the shoulds. It's the should is the voice of somebody else
Mm-hmm.
that you have absorbed. And you've absorbed that voice and made it your own and taken on that should. That's what we call an adopted belief. We've adopted the idea, but
That's
it's
what you
not
said.
ours. Yeah. We have to realize the shoulds don't belong to us.
Mm.
And we have a choice whether we continue to live by the should
Mm-hmm.
or whether we choose instead.
Yeah.
And you're
Yeah.
absolutely right. Should is shaming. It
Mm-hmm.
feels like shaming, doesn't it?
It does.
Because we're not doing what someone else,
Mm-hmm.
some invisible force around us
Mm-hmm.
thinks we should be doing. And we feel that pressure
Yep.
to
Mm-hmm.
do that.
Yeah.
When actually, when we look at it from the truth of that's not our idea to hold,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
what do I choose for myself instead,
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
we can make an informed choice.
Yeah.
Then we can look at, okay, if I'm feeling guilty as a busy working mum,
Mm-hmm.
what am I believing about myself?
Mm-hmm.
Where am I believing I'm falling short?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what's my behavior? And how can I bring those two more into alignment?
Mm-hmm.
Then
Yeah.
we don't feel guilty. Because we are allowed to just do our best, aren't we? We're not superwoman.
That
Remember,
needs
we
to
said
be
we
on
got to
our
hang up the cape.
that needs to be on a t-shirt. We're allowed to just do our best.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's just kind of crazy when you think about it, right? Like
Yeah.
the pressure.
Say this one thing as well, actually. This is a really good little phrase that sums up so much of the pressure that we feel
Mm-hmm.
as working mums, as we've evolved, let's say, into being busy, successful working mums.
Mm-hmm.
Back in Victorian times, even earlier,
Mm-hmm.
school children were asked to memorize and repeat daily a phrase about being good enough, performing good enough.
Mm-hmm.
And it was this. And I actually said it to my partner at the weekend, just messing around. And it just came to me now. So I'm going to share it with you and all your
Yes.
listeners now. Maybe you've even heard it. And it's this that is good, better, best.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ever rest till your good is better and your better best. That's the should,
Yeah.
isn't it? That's the
Yes.
should right there.
Yeah.
That's the nagging. And it's creating, as you said, the robot, the ever performing, the ever over pleasing, over delivering robot, because it's trying to be enough.
Yeah.
In that phrase, good, better, best, you can hear the pressure.
Oh, my body completely constricted. When you started saying that, I was like, oh gosh, no.
It's
Yeah.
totally it, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we have to take that time with awareness to
Mm-hmm.
come back into integrity with ourselves, back into alignment with ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
and understand where we're feeling that sense of shame from those shoulds,
Yeah.
what's not ours to own,
Mm-hmm.
and look at resetting ourselves with self-love.
Mm-hmm.
And part of that process is very often healing those emotional wounds,
Yeah.
because that's that nagging voice.
Mm-hmm.
When we heal the wounds, that
Mm-hmm.
nagging voice no longer needs to be there,
Yeah.
because we've come back into alignment, into the truth of who we really are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So powerful. So good. We could talk for another 2 hours. I feel like, Lisa. First of all,
Good.
your voice is so soothing. I'm sure I'm not the first one to tell you that, but
Oh,
I
thank
just want
you.
to sit here and just like listen to your voice. It's so calming. And I think for the listeners who come on, it is just going to like their whole nervous system's just going to come down just by listening to your voice. It's very, very soothing. So, but I feel like you just kind of like mic dropped with that. But is there any final thought you would like to leave the listeners with?
Oh, any final thought I'd like to leave the listeners with? So I would say just find, quite simply, one moment of choosing what matters most.
Mm.
Don't apologize for it.
Mm-hmm.
Just hold that truth for yourself.
Mm.
Allow yourself to be real with you first,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
then you can start to be real with your kids. You
Mm.
can start to be real in your work with your colleagues, with your clients, with your customers. Don't apologize for who you are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Own who you are instead,
Yeah. I love that.
and live authentically in alignment from that place.
Yeah. So good. So good. Okay. So the reset, I have pause and ask where I'm being pulled in two directions, identify the conflict, and then make one conscious decision to shift or update the belief. That was what you said. Okay.
Yes.
And then there was another process that we went through, and then I kind of think I took you off, but the step one was like belief and behavior are misaligned. What was the second? And was there another step to that one? Do you remember what we were talking about? If not, that's okay.
No, that's okay. So
The first thing you said, benefit and or belief and behavior are misaligned. And then there was another step, and I have a blank. So
yeah,
maybe I need to go
okay.
back and listen to it. But
No,
I just
that's
want to
okay.
make sure of it because I kind of interrupted you there. And we started talking about the kids and permission. And I didn't know if there was another part of that step that you wanted to come back to, but we covered a lot. So it's okay. I'm sure it's in there
That's
somewhere.
okay. It's understanding that there is a belief and a behavior that are not aligned,
Mm-hmm.
and checking in with yourself for whether you need to change your actions,
Mm-hmm.
change your behavior,
Mm-hmm.
or whether you need to update your belief.
Okay.
So much guilt comes from trying to do your best
Mm-hmm.
with a belief that isn't true to you.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And those outdated beliefs
Mm-hmm.
come from emotional wounds.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
healing those emotional wounds naturally updates
Mm.
your beliefs. I take my clients through a proprietary process
Mm-hmm.
of shifting from limiting belief into empowered belief. It's a 4-step process
Yeah.
that's very, very powerful because it runs in parallel with emotional healing.
Mm. So
And
good.
what happens is clients step into the truth of who they are,
Mm-hmm.
fully equipped with empowered beliefs that serve them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there's no shame, there's no guilt, there's just truth integrity, and alignment.
Love it.
And that's so inspirational,
Mm-hmm.
so encouraging for our children
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
as well, because we must not forget we are role models for our children. They are watching us, absorbing our energy every minute of every day. Even when we think they're not listening, they're not watching, they absolutely are. And it's only when they're fully grown, like mine are 30 and 21.
Yeah.
The feedback you get sometimes, which is wonderful. You know, it's lovely to reap what you have sown, even unconsciously over a long period of them growing up.
Yeah.
To realize that they have really absorbed not just what we may have said in terms of advice from our own life experience,
right,
but absorbed what they experienced in us as busy working mothers, and how we find our way through that juggle struggle.
Yeah.
With integrity, with awareness.
Yeah.
So we're not only serving ourselves, we're serving our children and generations to come.
Yeah.
So we owe it to ourselves, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Really,
yes,
to heal ourselves, to be strong and powerful in our lives today.
Yeah. So good. Well, tell everyone where they can connect with you, Lisa, if they want to kind of go through that process with you.
Okay, thank you. So I have a dedicated page for your listeners, and they can find that at welcome.empoweredmomentum.com.
Okay.
So I'll say it again. It's welcome.empoweredmomentum.com.
Okay. We'll put that in the show notes so they'll have that.
Thank you. Thank you. So on this page, they can get a copy of my latest book. I've written 3 books. My 4th coming out this year, next year, is Without Excuse or Apology, which encapsulates that whole journey actually of juggle struggle.
Yeah.
My latest book is From Anxious to Empowered. Okay. And that gives inspiration and advice for a calm and happy life, along with some real strategy, real case studies that are very inspirational for women caught up in this juggle struggle. Listeners can also get a free self-esteem quiz there that will give them so much insight into what's fueling their personal juggle struggle today. And if they'd like to, they can book a conversation with me, and we can look at how I can support them in healing those emotional wounds that are creating that sense of mum guilt, that are feeding it under the surface.
So good. Well, thank you for giving us a dedicated page for the listeners, and we'll definitely put that in the show notes for them. But I really appreciate this honest conversation. I think it's going to be super valuable for the listeners, and I'm probably going to go back and listen to it as well. So thank you so much, Lisa.
I'm delighted. Thank you again for having me on your show. It's been a pleasure to meet you and chat to you.
Absolutely. All right, friends. Well, I'll catch you on our next episode. Well, that's a wrap, friends. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. I really hope it met you right where you are and gave you some encouragement for your day. Could you do me the biggest favor and leave me a rating and review? Seriously, it's the best way for you to support the show. And while you're there, be sure to follow the show so you never miss an episode. Thanks again. And until next time, I am believing in you always.